It has been a day, and I am ready to craft my way to a calmer mood. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and it's been one of those days. I can feel all the nerves frayed, I can feel the tension, and we're gonna take a minute and we're gonna craft so that we can feel calm, and collage is what does that for me. So I've pulled out my collage journal. This is a beautiful bullet journal from Archer and Olive. It's kind of my whatever. Like I just started it this year. It's just random bits and pieces, and it feels great to put them down on the page. And that's what we're going to do. I'm excited. I pulled out this bin. This is old printables from Illustrated Faith. They're like all kinds of things. We're going to cut them apart. We're going to put them down. We're just going to collage away with no need to worry about an end product, but just to focus on the fun of crafting. So I thought I would bring you guys along with me. I will link Archer and Olive and Illustrated Faith down below. Otherwise, let's go. I think as crafters, sometimes we have a hard time letting go of those odds and ends, those bits and pieces left over from past kits, from past projects. Maybe you have some sticker books that you've used a lot, but there are still a few stickers hanging around, and it's hard to let those go. I mean, those are products that you paid for, products that you loved at one point. And so I know for sure that I have this little collection specifically of these printables. Either I printed them out and just used a few pieces. Maybe the printer didn't print them the best, but I still kept them around for some reason. I love that this collage book is a place where I can just play with supplies and put them down in the book and use up some of these pieces that were just sitting in drawers. And no, they don't have necessarily a specific purpose. They're not going in a card. I'm not creating a gift or a scrapbook spread that I'm going to be able to have forever, but I am getting to use them and enjoy them. And I think that really speaks a lot, because they really were just in a drawer, and they would have just stayed in a drawer until I cleaned out that drawer and decided I didn't want them. So now they're getting a chance to kind of fulfill their purpose. Now, the act of collage, this is, I get questions. What's the difference between a collage book and a junk journal? Or what's the difference between doing a collage page and taking an art journal? I really think that that's, I think they're all very similar. I think it's, however you decide to label it. To me, collage is very simple. I'm just putting together different paper pieces. Some are printables, some are ephemera that I had in that stash, and I'm layering them. I'm having fun. They're not necessarily all lining up. I'm putting some in the back, some in the front, playing around with their orientation on here. It's still a pretty simple process, and that is something that I'm constantly looking for on days when the world feels overwhelming. And I think we've had many of those as of late, and sometimes when the world feels overwhelming, decisions can be hard, and that can be very taxing on our creativity. It can feel like everything has kind of locked up in our head. We can't decide what sticker book we want to use for a new planner spread. We can't decide who we want to make a card for. There's just too many choices, too many decisions, a decision fatigue, if you will. And so doing something like this that keeps it very simple, where you're just simply placing pieces on the page, takes away some of that decision. It makes it a lot easier. I'm basically going by the rule, whatever I pick up, I'm going to figure out how to get it down onto a page of some sort. That makes it not really a choice. It's like, hey, when I pick it up, I'm going to cut it out and find a place for it. Simplifies the process, and it really does start to loosen the wheels of creativity, if you will. It's like giving you a little bit of extra juice to get those creative juices flowing. By the time I was done with these pages, I really honestly did feel calmer. I felt excited to create. You will find that a lot of times when you just start putting pieces down on paper, when you just start playing, not questioning, just playing, use a journal, use a planner, use something that no one else is going to see. You start putting it down, the creative wheels start turning and you're going to start feeling more inspired to keep creating. I often say, hey, set a timer for 10 minutes. Do this for 10 minutes. You will find that after 10 minutes, you kind of want to keep going. But really, it only takes a little 10-minute break, creative break, if you will, to just have a little bit of fun. This is something that is really easy to kind of incorporate into your workday, maybe on a lunch. Just the tiniest little bit of crafting can really lift your mood. You all will have to let me know if you want to see me continue to work in this paper collage book. I know it's very simple. It's not, anything groundbreaking, but you all did seem to really enjoy the first video. So I decided, you know what, I am going to turn on the camera this second time around, even though I'm just kind of doing this for myself. I think this would be a fun book to collect all kinds of things. For me, using the printables and extra ephemera works really well right now. I think you can also use this as a junk journal outlet. Maybe you have, bits and pieces of receipts or random stickers that you pick up through the day that you're also throwing in here in a way, just to kind of collect and give yourself an extra little outlet. Even when you have hobbies that you love, maybe you absolutely love paper planning, maybe you love to Bible journal, maybe you are a card maker at heart and that brings you a ton of joy. Even when you know that those are kind of go-to hobbies, it's nice to have what I would call a parallel hobby, which is not quite the same as your main squeeze, but it's something that kind of coordinates and can kind of scratch that itch in a way. So I love playing with paper. I love putting together planner spreads. I love journaling. For me, this is kind of like journaling without the actual pressure of writing words on the page, because I could write words down here if I wanted to. If I felt inspired, I could totally do actual journaling. There's even journaling cards that I incorporate into these spreads. But I'm not putting that pressure on myself. Really, I'm just playing, seeing what can fit where, seeing how I want to fill a page. Do I feel like filling it up all the way? Do I feel like putting something in the corner? What's calling to me in that moment? And I'm kind of just going with the flow in that way. Now, these are old pieces from Illustrated Faith. I don't know if they are still in the print and pray shop, but of course there are tons of beautiful print and pray pieces that you can get all of the time. The best part about using printables is that you can print them over and over. So this makes a hobby like this really easy because you already have access to all these printables that maybe you used in your planner. Maybe you've checked out the free printables that I have over on Patreon. If you haven't, head on over. Every Thursday, I do have free printables, free to everybody over on Patreon. So that could be a jumping off point, just gathering a few of those printables and kind of adding them into a book. There's all kinds of easy ways to do this that is not some big investment where you have to buy a new journal or you have to buy certain supplies. You can see all I'm using: scissors, Tombow, tape runner, and a journal that I happen to have in my stash. Now, I would love to hear from you all down below. What's your go-to hobby to calm down, to calm your nerves, to calm your mind? What do you like to do to calm down? I know a ton of people that love, love, love crocheting. It keeps their hands busy. It doesn't necessarily, depending on your pattern, I suppose, doesn't necessarily require a ton of concentration, and you can kind of just zone out but create. For me, I do very much love a collage book. It feels really good. It feels really easy, which I think is pretty important in a calming craft, because my brain at this point in the day when I am working on this was not ready to think through a bunch of stuff. In fact, it's one of those days where I felt like I had already been thinking a little bit too much and I just wanted a little brain break. Instead of scrolling on my phone, instead of going through social media, I thought, you know what, let's do a little bit of a creative recharge, and this was perfect for that. I will also say one of my other go-tos is what I'm doing right here, which is just called fussy cutting. Actually just cutting out images, whether it's from magazines or printables, sitting there, cutting them out. Maybe you're watching TV or a movie or listening to your favorite music. The process of that is also very relaxing because it's repetitive, because you actually see your little pile of cutouts building. You can see some progress being made pretty darn easily. That's another great go-to for a calming way to work your creativity just a little bit through actual fussy cutting. Okay, at this point, I was feeling pretty darn good. I just wanted to finish up a couple of these pages that I had already cut into. Once I cut into a page, I really wanted to use up all the pieces on that page in some way, even if it resulted in incomplete pages, of which the last one, maybe the last two pages here, feel a little bit incomplete. Not totally, just a little bit. Just feel like they could have a little bit more. Also, don't be afraid to cut apart your pieces. The grieving label right there didn't really work for what I wanted, so I just cut it off. I don't need to use that part. And I'm mixing and matching different sets. I'm not super worried about whether the theme works, whether the color works. These don't necessarily have a theme or color. They are just what was on top of the pile at the moment. Like I said, taking away the decision is what really helped calm and relax my brain. All right, once I get these last few pieces on the page, that's going to be it for my collage journal entry today. I certainly feel so much calmer, and I would encourage you to go grab some fun pieces from your stash, throw them down on paper, and have fun playing with collage and kind of crafting your way to a calmer mood. Be sure to let me know if you enjoy seeing these videos, if you want to see more of this collage journal. Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification button so you will see when my new videos release. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Patreon community. If you are looking for a family of people full of creative inspiration, kind of like a cheerleading group that's like cheering you on with all your creative endeavors, Patreon is the place to be. I cannot say enough about the amazing community that has developed over there. You will not regret joining it for 1 second. If you want to find out more about Patreon and pick a tier that works for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/ScrappyWife. All right, that's it for today. I hope that all of you have an absolutely fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.